Bonjour, this lesson is on les articles définis, so the definite articles. The first thing that you should know about all these articles right here is that they mean the. They translate to the word the or the, however you want to say it, in English. The second thing that you should know is that we will use these definite articles when we are talking about something definite or specific. And that is just like English. We'll use definite articles, which is the word the. That's our definite article in English. We'll use it in English the same way when we're talking about something definite or specific. For example, the cat. If we're talking about the cat that you saw when you were walking to school, or the cat perhaps over there, there's a specific cat that we're talking about in this example. It's not just a general cat that you can find anywhere. There's a specific color that you can think of. You saw this one, the people should know what kind of cat you're talking about. That's just an example. You can talk about the pizza that you had for dinner last night. That's what you should remember, that these are going to be specific instances. However, there are some differences. That part is like English, but then you'll also find that these definite articles are used more often in French. So sometimes we won't use any articles in English, but in French you tend to almost always use them. So they're going to be used more often. For example, when you're talking about preferences. Okay, so preferences as in whether you like or dislike something. So in English, we would say, I like pizza. Notice how there is no the in that sentence. You're just saying that you like pizza. In French, you would have to say, I like the pizza. And that would mean that you like pizza. You're not talking about a specific kind, per se, just that you like it. You'll eat it. Another example, you could say, let's talk about some pets. How about dogs? You could say, I like dogs in English, no article, but in French, it's different. We're going to use that definite article more often. So we have to say, j'aime les chiens. You notice I added the word les to say, I like the dogs. But when we translate it to English, we're just going to say, I like dogs. And that might sound confusing to you because how would you say, I like the dogs as in the specific dogs? Like maybe you met your friend's pets and they had some cats and some dogs and you can say, oh, I like the dogs. It would sound exactly the same. You would be saying, j'aime les chiens. And how would you know the difference if you're just saying, oh yeah, I like dogs? By the preferences, or you're talking about the specific ones? Same way we figure out everything else. It would be context. So that's the general rules about what definite articles are and when we use them. So now let's get to what we have, the actual ones in French. Remember, we just have a single one that we're going to use in English most of the time. And for French, we have this whole column, these four. So, les sounds like lay. And it means the, as will every other word here. And this is going to be used for plural words. That means more than one. So if you're talking about the cats, les chats. Or the dogs, les chiens. It doesn't matter if these are feminine or masculine, so you don't have to worry about that yet. If it's plural, it will always have les. Now, let's move on to the L apostrophe, as in the apostrophe. This will go in front of a masculine or a feminine word. Doesn't matter. It could be masculine or feminine. It has to be singular, as in only one, and it has to start with a vowel. So we could say l'auto, as in the car, the auto. How about l'examen? So we have the car, the test. They're singular, as in only one, and they both start with a vowel, so you need to make a contraction, that L apostrophe. And finally, also remember that the L apostrophe also means the. Let's go on to our word la. Pronunciation, you could think of it as that, la, or maybe the first part of the word love, just that part, sounds like la. It means the, again, also rhymes with the. Let's just write that. La, the. There, that might help you remember it. The is used for the masculine ones. Masculine words like le chat. And it's only one, singular. It has to be singular. Now, how do you know if you should use le or la? You have to know that it's masculine. How do you know if something is masculine? You have to study it. There are certain endings that are clues to let you know that words are masculine, but it's much, much easier to just study the word with an article. So instead of writing on your flashcards or however you study, just the word, for instance, chat, always write the article, le chat. So you're not memorizing that chat means cat, you're memorizing le chat means the cat. And that way you'll remember that chat is masculine and it must go with le. Should not go with la. Okay, it's not la chat, it's le chat. In general, of course, if it was a female cat, it would be a completely different story. So you have to memorize it. This lesson that I'm teaching here is not on the magic tricks to tell the difference between masculine and feminine. You can Google it, you can look at Spark Notes, they'll show you the endings that should give you a hint as to whether it's masculine or feminine, but there's so many of them that it's much easier to just remember it and study it when you're studying the word. So let's move on to la. La goes in front of words that are feminine. Like, how about our word for frog? La grenouille. And that word is feminine. Doesn't mean that frogs are all girls. It just means that the word's feminine. I'm not going to go into why some words are masculine and some words are feminine because there's really no reason to look into that. People who learn about that are actually studying language in college and studying language for their master's degree. That means after they finish college. It's a big, long story. You just have to know that some words are masculine and some words are feminine. In languages like French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, they all do this. It's hard for English speakers to understand why, but that's why they're different languages. Not everything is the same. So let's get back to la grenouille. La grenouille, it's a feminine word. La means the, just like the other ones, and it's for singular, as in only one, feminine words. Now, I've heard several times that people say if the word ends in E, that means it's feminine. I've read that although people think that, it's basically 50-50. So if you see an E at the end of the word, it could be feminine, but there's a 50-50 chance that it could also be masculine. Again, how are we going to tell the difference between whether it's feminine or masculine? Memorize it, study it. So instead of learning the word grenouille as frog, when you write it on your flashcard, include la. So you always remember la goes with grenouille, and you'll remember that it's feminine. I hope this lesson has helped. The main points again are over here that it means the. It's for definite or specific things like the cat over there, just like English. But it's also used more often in French. So when you're talking about your likes or dislikes, like if you like cats, you would say j'aime les chats. Or if you like dogs, j'aime les chiens. Or if you don't like them, that's when you would use them. But you would not use them in English. So that's the tricky part. Otherwise, it's pretty self-explanatory. These words all mean the, and all you have to do is make sure you know the difference if it's feminine or masculine, and if there's a vowel, or if you're talking about several of them.